Hello everyone, this is User1. Today I'm going to share something that frustrates me in Los Santos roleplay. Something that I've been dealing with for over a year now, and it's still a problem. I'm talking about my experience with LSPD. Now before I start, let me begin with a disclaimer. Do not attack anyone who I'm going to talk about. Not only is it completely childish, but it's entirely unnecessary and makes the community you're trying to be a part of look bad. After Taichi was banned for aimbotting, he was attacked and harassed in personal messages, which becomes only worse when you find out that he was later unbanned because admins deemed him innocent. Also, I'd like to make it clear that everything I say is my honest opinion, not intended to disrespect any members of LSRP factions or staff, teams, or members, or anyone for that matter. Okay, let's begin. This is a long one, so get comfortable. So over a year ago, or about 17 months ago to be particular, I joined the police academy with my LSRP character, Paul Anderson. I've passed all of the tests and made it into the rank of Police Officer 1, which in LSRP is a rookie who cannot be on their own and always needs to be under supervision. I was very excited because the job would always bring something new to me to deal with, and I would always be able to solve problems without much issues because I got all these resources as a police officer. What was even more exciting is the amount of commands that a police officer had, like several commands, slash, cuff, slash, stuff like that, arrest and stuff like that. I made sure to look through all of them in-game, and I read through several guides, but there was simply so much to remember. I just didn't read through everything. I didn't bother, and I even made a few clips about my amazing adventures, which you can check out in Paulette Anderson playlist at the beginning. There's like 2 clips. Now, there are strict no corruption rules for rookies to ensure that they follow the format, and you had to make a quota of 30 arrests, I believe, before you could be promoted. I mean, it did happen over a year ago, but I think it's 30 arrests. It could have been changed since then, obviously. Unfortunately, I was unable to make 30 and only made up to 28 arrests by the deadline, but I was given another week to make up for the arrests. I obviously don't have any evidence of that right now since it happened so long ago, but I do have more evidence for more recent issues that I'm going to mention. So here I am, February 2015, happy that I'm about to be promoted to Police Officer 2 because I'll make 2 more arrests. And I'll do it no problem in 2 weeks, in 1 week that I'm given. And unlike the most cops, I had a lot of free time. Well, I mean, I didn't actually, but I lied to myself and neglected my responsibilities to play as much as possible. So I had a lot of opportunities to develop Paulette Anderson, my character. And that's what I focused on, development. I played probably more off camera than on camera, and by that time I already had a YouTube channel. And I did record some episodes with Paulette Anderson. And my character had her personal home and everything. And every day she would come home, she would roleplay going to bed and whatever, and I just enjoyed doing that. She would invite her friends and they would hang out. Now, at the time, things like female police skins didn't exist. If you don't know, female police skins are not in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. There were no female police officers. They are actually added to San Andreas multiplayer because of how many roleplay servers there are and how many female police officers are lacking in skins. At the time, the way you could be a female cop before the skins were added, it's you'd pick one of the designated civilian skins and put a police vest clothing item over it. This is a requirement to roleplay uniform as a female. Naturally, I had that clothing item with me and I wanted to show it off. This was all roleplay, by the way. We weren't just messing around and out of character like most like to think. I actually develop my characters and I act what I find is most natural with my current active character. It goes without saying that police officers keep their uniform home, some even keep their duty vehicle, so I roleplayed having my character put on a uniform at home to show up to her friends, and she didn't leave the house at any point. Now I've mentioned already that I read through all the commands that the officers could do, and I was unsure about this one command that was /togcolor. So I went ahead into faction chat and asked my fellow officers of higher rank what does /togcolor do. Every response I got was, it changes color of your name. If you're not aware, on-duty cops have a bluish name tag compared to most civilians who have white tag. Now, because I wore uniform and I looked like a cop, I thought why not complete the immersion for others, and I did /togcolor to change color to blue. So we messed around at home, played random games with dice and spin the bottle and shit like that. Then we all separated and I finally went off the game at like 3 AM in the morning as usual. Funny, it's like 3 AM as I'm recording this. Anyway, next day after school, I come home and get on duty instead of doing my homework, and I hear that Michael Houston himself, the chief of police, wishes to speak to me. He asks me what is my relation to my friends who hung out with yesterday, and I tell him all about it. Then he explains to me that I was not allowed to use /togcolor, only detectives are allowed to do so. Now keep in mind, I was only 16 at the time. Obviously I start arguing with him because I only had 2 arrests left, and he argued that I was about to be demoted, I was about to be fired. So I specifically, however, want to mention that I specifically remember Michael Houston saying that if I had the rank of police officer 2, which I was 2 arrests away from getting, this quote-unquote corruption, as he described it, would have been allowed and I wouldn't have been punished. But since I was a police officer 1, he had to fire me because admins spectate all on-duty police officers, and apparently I was on duty by changing color. So he had me fired right there and then, and I was pretty much devastated. Paulette since then took the turn from the worst and went from living in a high-rise rodeo apartment to living in slums of El Corona, and it continued that way for about a year. Fast forward a year, now we're back on track, and I killed Paulette Anderson to replace her with her sister that I randomly made up to make a clean crime sheet, okay? I'll be honest, it was just to make a clean crime sheet. And I'll tell you, it felt like shit giving up my developed character like that for someone I made up on the go. But nevertheless, I wanted a clean sheet and I got it. I had to pay for it with real money though, and at the time I didn't think nothing about it. Someone needs money, right? Of course they're gonna ask for it one way or another. And they do provide an alternative for you to simply create a new character from level 1, but I wanted to keep the assets obviously, because you know, you need a house and starting from level 1 takes forever. So now it's I think beginning of March 2016 was it? And I decided, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I had a character secretly join police department again? So I applied as Isabel Sanderson, the clean sheet sister. Everything was going well. I passed every test, I went through briefing, I passed the interview, then on the final background check I get this message. Basically, paraphrasing, what are you trying to hide from us? Your faction banned. I was confused. Faction banned? Since when? Then I find out that because I was banned for an out of character reason, I am faction banned. Huh, interesting. So I was told to make an appeal. And I made an appeal since then, which was denied. I asked for a reason. I was told to speak to the chief of police. I have sent him a personal message and I still have no response. Since, yeah. My surprise was to join LSPD and play as a cop. That's the surprise I promised to my viewers. Unfortunately, despite my attempts, I'm unable to do so. Well, you may say, oh, no problem, you can just join the sheriff's department, that's why they basically exist, right? Well, there's another issue that I'm currently dealing with. Remember back when I used to do live streams? Isabel got arrested for trying to save her friend by some sheriffs. Well, she opened up a court case and she won $25,000 and she got her gun license back. But not her concealed gun license, just her PF license. You see, she still has this charge for contempt of court that I was originally trying to dispute with the original court case. However, that didn't work out because it wasn't the sheriff's department that put the charge. I spoke to my lawyer and he told me that I had to find someone from PD or SD to help me figure out where did the charge come from. Here, I want to give a shout out to Goddess of Life for helping me find out the following. The charge, contempt of court, comes from gang injunction A gang injunction is a restraining order against a group, a gang usually. It's a civil suit that seeks a court order declaring gang's public behavior a nuisance and asking for special rules directed towards its activity. The charge was put there by Jaden Cole, who has since resigned from police department. Isabel is not and never was affiliated with any gang. In fact, none of my characters were. So, Jaden Cole, if you're watching this, could you please explain to me why did you put the charge on Isabel Sanderson? But of course, that's unlikely. It's another court case and another few months before I even get a shot at joining any kind of police force in LSRP. Unless of course I buy a name change, which is something I suspect they want me to do. I've done this mistake once. I've sacrificed my developed character for the sake of continuity and fun. And I forgot what roleplay stood for. It's not rank, it's not faction, it's character development. From now on, I refuse to cave into name changes unless I specifically desire to name change, and I will focus entirely on proper roleplay and character development. If I never make it into police department, tough luck, there's always other roleplay servers out there. What do you think about this whole situation? Please let me know in the comments, and remember to not send any hate towards Michael Houston or any LSPD members, even if you think they're somehow in the wrong. All I want to do with this video is to inform my viewers why they're not getting the surprise that I originally planned for them. And as always, stay awesome.
Yes, it's a